In this video, we're going to talk about how you can utilize AI in slightly more unexpected ways by doing things like uploading your own brain and your whole content library to basically train a chatbot to think like you and talk like you, or how you can utilize AI to create amazing product mockups or hundreds of ad creatives in just seconds, and how you can use it to actually predict the success of your campaigns before they've even gone live. And not to mention, you can also utilize AI to essentially tell you whether that business you're planning to create that doesn't even exist yet is going to make you any money. So all of that and a little bit more in this video. Let's just dive straight into it and start with AI-driven content research. Okay, so this may seem like the most obvious of the strategies that we're going to cover in this video, and I do have a separate video over here that's all about this where we cover it in much more depth. But what I want to talk about here is not the sort of most obvious things that you would think of, like asking ChatGPT to help you plan out what to post and create a content calendar. I want to go beyond that in a much more unexpected way by looking at how you can utilize AI to actually help you find trending topics before they go viral. Tools like BuzzSumo and Exploding Topics can show you not just what's trending right now, which in itself can be a really powerful thing, but they can actually utilize their AI to predict what's going to be trending in the future based on the historical data and just general behavior patterns of audiences that they know about. So that can be super powerful. There are sort of paid features of both of these platforms, so it's not for everybody because, you know, it can be quite steep. But I think that this can be a huge thing for businesses to utilize because it might actually end up making you create content around some topics that you've never even really thought about from within your industry, or, you know, just kind of making sure that you prioritize topics that you're always going to create content around, but maybe in 6 months' time, and now you're going to be able to utilize these tools and go, oh, actually, this is a topic we need to prioritize right now because it's about to take off. So that can be really powerful. Of course, you want to make sure you have a really good blend of these kind of virally shareable topics that, you know, can give you really big kind of boost in traffic or engagement, and then also your more evergreen kind of core content that is designed to kind of go a bit deeper with your audience and develop that relationship on a much deeper level. So you want to have a really good balance of these two, and again, make sure you check out my other video on the topic. But for now, let's just say this is a really powerful feature to check out, and let's move on to the next step, which is all about hyper-personalized customer engagement, because there have been some really exciting developments in this area, starting with AI-powered chatbots for customer interaction. So we all know that chatbots are no longer there to just answer simple questions. They can really understand context and emotions and behaviors and provide hyper-personalized recommendations. Tools like Drift and Intercom have even been able to provide personalized product recommendations based on user behavior. So there's lots going on in this area, but then there are tools that have gone beyond this by really diving into what it's like to be you and essentially be a copy of you, not just with what you've, you know, manually trained it to do. So a tool like CoachVox AI, for example, can take every piece of content you've ever created from your videos and your courses and your trainings and your blog posts, emails, everything that you've ever created, and essentially then become a version of you that can help to talk to your audience 24/7 while you sleep, but talk like you and provide recommendations like you. And that is so exciting because the possibilities for how to utilize something like this are absolutely endless. It could be an internal resource for your team or for your company employees where they ask the CEO chatbot, you know, something about the company history or how to do something within the company. And, you know, it frees up so much time for the actual human equivalent of this chatbot and hopefully provide the right resources. So it can just be utilized as an internal resource, or it can exist as almost like a middle of the funnel strategy where this chatbot helps to develop deeper relationships with your audience in a much more one-to-one sort of scenario and helps to then convert them onto your coaching programs, onto your online courses, or whatever your products or however your business makes money. That can be almost like a internal salesperson as well, you know, helpful in terms of providing resources, but potentially also pitching your products and services without you having to lift a finger. So there are so many things you can do with it. Essentially, if you can dream it, AI can probably do it. Next, let's talk about sentiment analysis and social listening tools. So sometimes it can feel like we're honestly just guessing as to how people feel about us online. Obviously, we get customer reviews, so that's a really good indicator to see if people think we're a 1-star or a 5-star service, but it's not that simple, because there are lots of conversations out there happening about your brand, especially bigger and bigger brands, that may get missed because they're not as clear cut as just a testimonial here and there. So if you really want to know what people are saying about your brand, or even just a recent campaign you might have launched online out there in the online universe, then tools like Dash Hudson, Sprinkler, and others can really help you dissect not just what's being said, but the emotions and attitudes and feelings behind what's being said out there. So these tools can effectively go through all the social media comments and posts and reviews and customer satisfaction surveys and even emails and other documents, and collect it all together and help you really analyze what is being said and how are people really feeling about your brand, your products, your services. What are the attitudes that people have about it, and how can you then utilize this information to help tweak your messaging or tweak your services or your products? Because without that direct customer feedback, you don't really know if other people are just as excited about what you offer as you are. So these tools are not the cheapest out there. Obviously, these are quite complex AI tools, but they can be so worthwhile, especially for bigger brands where that kind of, customer satisfaction, it can get out of hand when you've got thousands and thousands of people purchasing your products or services every day. So it can be a really worthwhile investment for those brands. Next, let's talk about AI for epic branded visuals. So depending on where you are in your AI research journey, you might be thinking that you either have to be an advanced user of something like Midjourney in order to get the most out of, AI for image creation, or you just have to deal with some really, really dodgy results, especially when it comes to AI for creating images of people. And yeah, I've been on the receiving end of some of these atrocities, and I can confirm it can be terrifying. However, AI has come a really long way when it comes to generating graphics that can be used for business purposes. So there are the more obvious tools, like using the integration of DALL-E within ChatGPT if you're a paid user. That can be a really simple way to kind of get your feet wet with image generation and AI if you're on the paid plan, in a way that's pretty low cost and pretty sort of minimum barrier to entry, and it allows you to already integrate with tools you're probably using anyways. But there are some really specialized tools out there that are maybe a little bit lesser known, but can be really powerful for different use cases in terms of what you actually want to create for your business, that I found that tools like DALL-E just don't do very well yet. So the two tools that I want to bring to your attention are Recraft and Ideogram. So first, looking at Recraft, I really love this tool because not only does it generate people pretty well for sort of one-off images, but it actually allows you to create collections of images in a similar style and in your brand colors, even on the free plan at this stage, which is perfect for doing things like carousels or other business assets where you may want that consistency in your design across. And then Ideogram I love because it's probably one of the top tools that I've found that can generate designs with text in them. A lot of other AI tools just aren't handling text very well yet within generated images, but these guys do a really solid job, so definitely check them out and play around. Their free plan is a little bit limited, and their paid plan would allow you to make things nicely branded with your brand colors. So that is one limitation, but definitely go and have a play around with both. But let's also go beyond just pure AI image generation, because it wouldn't get us very far when it comes to social media. So Ad Creative AI has much more evolved capabilities in the sense that it'll take your brand visuals, your colors, your fonts, any assets, and with the click of a button can create up to 180 creative elements that you can utilize for organic posts and social media ads. And if you're an e-commerce business, they can even create AI generated mock-ups of your products that look beautiful in your paid ads. So there's a lot of power in this one tool, and the reviews are spectacular. I haven't utilized them myself, but I think it's a tool that I'm going to look into much more in the future. Now, they can be a little bit pricey because they don't have a free tier, they only have a free trial. So if that's a little bit outside of your budget, then a tool like My Marquee AI could be a really solid alternative. This tool will essentially ask you to put in your website, and it'll extract all the information about your business, your branding, your customers, and then ask you to check it over and correct anything that's not quite right. Then once you've done that, it can create hundreds of posts with branded graphics with just the click of a button. Now, of course, on their free plan, it is a little bit limited. You're not going to get hundreds of posts on their free plan, but it is pretty powerful, especially for businesses whose goal maybe on social media is just pure maintenance. They don't really want to have any sort of strategy for growth or follower engagement. They just want to have some sort of a presence online. It can be a really great way to do that. And they will also actually help with the caption writing aspect, which brings us to our next point, which is all about automating your creative copywriting. So I do want to preface this by saying that you should always be tweaking whatever AI spits out at you in terms of written content, because it'll never 100% sound exactly like you. Hopefully, I mean, maybe one day, but so far, not really. No matter how good of a job you do in training your AI tools, you should always be checking it. Even if there's nothing for you to correct, please just make sure you're reading over everything. Sometimes it can be something so little like it's forgotten that you use UK instead of US English spelling. And yeah, maybe it's not a huge thing, but that kind of small thing, if your audience is very familiar with which country you're in and what kind of spelling you use, it can be something that really turns someone off when they know it's not a piece of content that you've written. So with that in mind, and making sure that you tweak things at least a little bit at the end, we can have a look at AI writing tools for advanced content creation. Okay, so let's go beyond just the, generic ChatGPTs of the world on this, because there are much more specific AI tools that are designed specifically for crafting copywriting for social media, so that you can actually present different messages to different segments of your audience and craft a more tailored strategy based on who the intended audience is. So in addition to a tool like Ad Creative AI, which we already talked about, there are tools like Jasper and Copy AI that function essentially just for this purpose. And they can help you write so much more than just captions and ad copy. They can help you write emails and scripts and so much, basically anything you need for your business. And I think, there are so many different powerful functionalities of these tools, but the real true power lies in helping you save a little bit of money on split testing and A/B testing, because you're then essentially able to take these tools and go, this is my brand's tone of voice, these are my ideal customers, these are the different segments, my different customer avatars, and this is the product or service I'm promoting. Help me craft a message that is specifically designed to help convert this particular audience to purchasing my product or service. And then you can, write different versions of a particular email or different captions for your different ads and actually see what resonates with that particular audience. But getting a little bit of outside help in a way will really help you to get out of your own head, because it can be so difficult to try and write for different audience members when those avatars are so different from who you are as a person. So I think this is something that marketers struggle with a lot, and it leads to really ineffective marketing, because at the end of the day, it's really hard to take our own biases out of the equation and be like, if I was someone who's obsessed with pugs, what would I want this ad to say? As someone who's maybe allergic to dogs, like, how are you going to actually do that? So having a little bit of help with AI to actually just kind of be a second brain to brainstorm with on this front is going to help save you so much time and money, and it can be such a powerful addition to your strategy. All right, next let's talk about AI for content localization. There are now AI tools that can help you not just translate your content, but actually localize it. So that means it makes it culturally relevant to diverse demographics around the world. There are tools like Unbabble and Localize AI that can effectively help to shape the tone of your messaging and really make it sound as if a native local of that particular country and that particular language was speaking through your content. And that is so incredibly powerful, not just as an accessibility feature for your social media content, but actually just helping you reach a much wider audience base, because there might be people from all around the world who could really benefit from your content and actually feel like you're really helping them if it was within their native language, whether that's just through pure translations and captions because you maybe uploaded a video and put in captions in different languages, or by actually having content that is dubbed and translated. So it can exist on various levels in terms of how much effort you put into this, but there are a lot of big YouTubers who are really leveraging this strategy, and it's really working for them for their other global audiences outside of just their native language. So there are channels that have actually gone to the point of dubbing their content, as is the case with Lewis House here.
Lo que sea que deje, estén mejor de lo que estarían sin haber estado.
Or ones that have simply translated their content into other languages in terms of titles, descriptions, and closed captions on his videos, like is the case with Gary Vee. So there's definitely potential to expand your reach with the use of these types of tools. And then next, I really want to talk about some really cool tools that can help to actually predict the success of your efforts before a campaign or a product launch has even gone live. Then let's talk about predictive analytics for strategy planning. So imagine if you could actually tell how successful a campaign is going to be before it's even gone live. I think that would be huge for marketers who are able to utilize this effectively. So there are tools like Genius AI that are already working on basically having, historical and algorithmic data based on tens of thousands of ads and millions of dollars spent on these ads that they can pull from to help you determine whether your ads are going to be successful in terms of things like click-through rate. So it can tell you, what's your predictive click-through rate, and could you potentially pick your most winning or highest click-through rate ads to actually put money behind. And they even have a score for something like ad appeal, which essentially determines how people are likely to feel about your ad. Are they likely to enjoy your ad? Are they likely to engage with your ad? This essentially can help to lower your cost per acquisition across both fronts, because obviously you don't have to spend a lot of trial and error figuring out your best performing ads, or you're at least significantly cutting down your testing phase because you're able to predict your best performing ads before they even go live, which is huge. And then there are tools that take this one step further, where they actually help to sort of simulate scenarios based on the data you input to let you know where there might be potential challenges with something like a product launch or a campaign, especially with things like seasonal campaigns. You might be able to actually run different scenarios and figure out where the kind of weak points are in your strategy and how you might be able to overcome those before you've even launched your campaign. So that is huge, and there's lots of use cases for both of these scenarios. And additionally, there are even tools now like Eureka, which basically utilize AI to let you know whether an online course or a book or how-to guide that you're planning on creating is actually likely to make you any money based on everything that everyone else out there has created and what has actually been profitable and popular on different marketplaces, so that you don't spend your life, or at least, the better portion of a year, creating something that nobody wants to watch or read. And that is something I really wish that I had access to when I first started teaching online. It would have saved me a lot of money. And if you'd like to continue learning more about this and really diving more into this topic of AI for social media and learning how to utilize it for your business, I've got a dedicated video for that right up here that you can watch. So hopefully I'll see you there.